Rome, 509 BCE. The city stands at a knife's edge between tyranny and freedom. Tonight, we tell the story of one woman's devastating choice. A choice that would topple a monarchy, ignite a revolution, and birth one of history's greatest republics. This is the story of Lucretia. For nearly 250 years, Rome had been ruled by kings. The seventh and final king was a man whose very name would become synonymous with despotism. Lucius Tarquinius Superbus, Tarquin the Proud. Tarquin's path to the throne was paved with blood. Married to Tullia Minor, daughter of the previous king Servius Tullius, the couple orchestrated a brutal coup. Together, they murdered their own spouses to be together, then assassinated Tullia's father, the king himself. According to the Roman historian Livy, Tullia's cruelty knew no bounds. After the murder, she drove her chariot directly over her father's corpse, the wheels splashing his blood across her clothing. The Romans would forever remember that street as the Vicus Sceleratus, the street of crime. Once in power, Tarquin ruled through fear. He refused to bury his predecessor, denied the Senate its traditional authority, and executed anyone he suspected of disloyalty. He made decisions alone, judged capital cases without counsel, and surrounded himself with armed guards day and night. This was no king, this was a tyrant. But Rome was expanding. Tarquin led successful military campaigns, completed the magnificent Temple of Jupiter on the Capitoline Hill, and secured Rome's dominance over the Latin cities. Yet his domestic policies bred resentment among the nobility and common citizens alike. The powder keg was ready. It needed only a spark. The year is 509 BCE. Tarquin's army lays siege to the city of Ardea, home of the Rutuli people. In the military camp, boredom breeds dangerous conversation. One evening, a group of young nobles, including Tarquin's son Sextus Tarquinius and a nobleman named Lucius Tarquinius Collatinus, fall into heated debate. The subject? The virtue of their wives. Each man boasts of his wife's excellence. The argument grows intense. Finally, Collatinus makes a bold proposal. Let them ride home unannounced and see for themselves which wife is truly virtuous. The young men mount their horses and thunder toward Rome through the darkness. At each home they visit, they find the wives feasting, drinking, enjoying entertainments, all except one. In the town of Collatia, they find Lucretia, wife of Collatinus. Even late at night, she sits surrounded by her maidservants, diligently spinning wool by lamplight, the very image of Roman wifely virtue. Collatinus has won the contest. But there is one man present who sees something else entirely. Sextus Tarquinius, the tyrant's son, looks upon Lucretia and is consumed by lust. Several days later, Sextus returns to Collatia. Collatinus is away at the siege. Lucretia, bound by the laws of hospitality, welcomes her husband's comrade into their home. That night, as the household sleeps, Sextus creeps through the darkened halls. He enters Lucretia's chamber, sword in hand. What happens next is one of the most infamous crimes in Roman history. Sextus threatens Lucretia, submit to him, or he will kill her and a male slave, place their bodies together, and claim he caught them in adultery. Her honor would be destroyed, her family shamed forever. Faced with this impossible choice, death in dishonor or survival in shame, Lucretia yields to the lesser evil. Sextus commits his crime and slips away into the night. But for Lucretia, the night's horror is only beginning. As dawn breaks, Lucretia sends urgent summons. She calls for her father, Spurius Lucretius Tricipitinus, the prefect of Rome, and her husband Collatinus. Each man is told to bring one trusted friend as witness. From Rome comes her father, accompanied by Publius Valerius Publicola. From the siege camp at Ardea arrives her husband with his kinsman, a man who has been playing the fool for years to survive the tyrant's paranoia. His name is Lucius Junius Brutus. The four men find Lucretia overcome with grief. Her explanation is swift and devastating. She recounts Sextus Tarquinius's crime in unflinching detail. The men immediately declare her blameless. It is the mind that sins, not the body, they tell her. Where there has been no consent, there is no guilt. But Lucretia disagrees. She speaks words that will echo through Roman history. Though I acquit myself of the sin, I do not absolve myself from punishment. No unchaste woman shall henceforth live through the example of Lucretia. Before anyone can stop her, Lucretia produces a knife hidden in her clothing. In one swift motion, she plunges it into her own heart. She dies in her father's arms. The room erupts in grief, but from that grief comes something Rome has never seen before. Lucius Junius Brutus, the man everyone believed to be a harmless simpleton, reaches down and pulls the bloody dagger from Lucretia's body. He raises it high, and the fool's mask falls away forever. By this blood, most pure before the outrage of the tyrant's son, I swear before you, Jupiter, and before all the gods, that I will pursue Lucius Tarquinius Superbus, his wicked wife, and all his children, with sword, with fire, with whatever violence I can, and that I will suffer neither them nor any other to be king in Rome. One by one, the others join the oath. The die is cast. What happens next is nothing short of revolutionary. Brutus doesn't bury Lucretia in private grief. Instead, her body is paraded through the streets of Galatia, then Rome itself. The sight of this virtuous woman, murdered by the tyrant's son, ignites a firestorm. Years of resentment toward Tarquin's brutal rule explode into action. As tribune of the Celeres, ironically the head of the king's own bodyguard, Brutus has the authority to summon the Roman assembly. In the forum, he delivers a speech that changes history. He recounts the tyrant's abuses, the murder of senators, the disregard for law and tradition. And he tells them about Lucretia. The crowd's response is unanimous. The Tarquin family must go. The monarchy must end. Brutus leads a delegation to the army at Ardea. When news reaches the camp, the soldiers side with the revolution, expelling the king's sons from their ranks. Tarquin himself, hearing of the uprising, abandons the siege and races back to Rome. But the city gates are closed to him. Lucius Tarquinius Superbus, Tarquin the Proud, is now Tarquin the Exile. The last king of Rome would never return. In the aftermath of revolution, Rome faces a profound question. What comes next? The answer would reshape Western civilization. The Roman people, gathered in legal assembly, vote to abolish the monarchy forever. In its place, they create something new, a republic, from the Latin res publica, the public thing, the people's affair. Two men would share power where one king had ruled. Consuls, elected annually, each with the power to veto the other. Brutus and Collatinus become Rome's first consuls in 509 BCE. The patrician families of Rome swear a collective oath. Never again would they allow a king to rule Rome. The word rex, king, would become the vilest insult in the Roman vocabulary for the next 5 centuries. From these bloody beginnings, the Roman Republic would endure for nearly 500 years. It would conquer Italy, defeat Carthage, and dominate the Mediterranean world. The principles established in 509 BCE, shared power, checks and balances, the rule of law over the rule of one man, would echo through history, influencing revolutionary movements from the United States to France to modern democracies worldwide. But what of Lucretia herself, the woman whose death catalyzed this revolution? Her story has haunted Western culture for over 2 millennia, from the Roman historian Livy to Shakespeare's The Rape of Lucrece, from Renaissance paintings to modern feminist scholarship. Lucretia's choice has sparked endless debate. Modern historians question the historical accuracy of the account. Did these events happen exactly as described? Probably not. The story was written down centuries after the events it describes, embellished with dramatic details for maximum impact. But the power of the story itself is undeniable. Whether myth or history, Lucretia's story reveals something profound about Roman values. The price of honor, the cost of tyranny, and the belief that even the most powerful can be held accountable for their crimes. In the end, Lucretia's tragedy became Rome's catalyst. From one woman's impossible choice came a revolution. From that revolution came a republic. And from that republic came an empire that would shape the Western world. The question that echoes across the centuries is this: what would you sacrifice for freedom? What price would you pay to end tyranny? For Lucretia, the answer was everything. The Roman Republic, born in violence and tragedy in 509 BCE, would endure until 27 BCE, when it would fall to a new form of autocracy under Augustus Caesar. But that is another story.